Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm stoked you're here. I want to take a quick second and shout out and thank all the channel members. Thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody who's just taken the time to come in and check out my knife and EDC content. Thank you for giving me the time and the effort to show you what I do. If you're so inclined and you like what you see, if you hit that subscribe and that bell notification icon, further help me out and keep you updated on things going on the channel. So this is a really cool knife that I've got a backstory that I can share with you in a second that came to me courtesy of Dave Warren, Tuya Knives, sent this out for me to check out. This is a design that was collaboration, came from Jim SKELTON, from his fixed blade design that's a custom, the Exorcist, which is a Spearpoint smaller knife, really cool knife. And when you look at the Caladan, this is the Caladan V2, it is fashioned after the Exorcist. And what's unique about that is this blade is so usable, guys. A Spearpoint for an EDC type of blade, it's got almost every application covered, right? So if you need to use the tip, it's close to the ground or close, lower than the pivot, so it's going to be close to what you're cutting. It's a great detail cutter. If you need to use it to just slice through materials, it's a great slicer. You've got not too much belly, but you've got a nice ascension there to that point on that spear point. So if you need to do pull cuts, it's perfect for that. If you need to save your Slurpee, that's where I would think it would really shine. I'd urge you guys to check out the Exorcist fixed blade. Cool knife, custom knife, not that they're available, but it'll show you some of the inspiration in this beautiful knife right here. The first thing that struck me when I opened it, because I have experienced this knife before, I experienced the version 1, but what first caught me was this carbon fiber. This type of Arctic-ish cross-cut carbon fiber that looks like nothing I've ever seen. It's kind of a white, a black, and a blue. The other thing you'll notice about the V2, you've got, again, the tumbled bolsters here, full titanium frame lock, titanium back spacer, wonderfully engineered way to do a lanyard loop where you don't even see it on the knife. That's something that I really appreciate. Fantastic access to the lock bar. You can see through there. You've got that jimping, very light jimping right here. Makes it super easy to get to. I've spent so much time fidgeting with this knife, and it's a flipper only knife. But the way Jim designed this flipper is very pleasurable. I'll leave it at that, and I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at the flipper here, you've got a nice kind of concave protrusion there coming off the back, the little flipper tab, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 well-placed jimps. So I can light switch this, opens like a dream. I can push button it, opens like a dream. And what I noticed, and what I didn't understand as much with the V1, is after looking at the Exorcist, this front, what I considered, what made it look like a parrot to me, hello, hello, in the version 1, I totally get because it completely conceals that flipper tab. And then when you go to use the knife, which I have a lot this week, it just makes for probably the most ergonomical, or one of the most ergonomical EDC knives I've handled. And that's a combination of these contoured scales, these soft edges everywhere you look on this knife. There are no hard edges. Everything is soft. And you don't have that flipper tab or any of that jimping where you don't want it. You've got great jimping here where you do. And I would look at this knife as a perfect tactical knife as well. Again, my definition of tactical might not match yours. This would have, had I had it earlier towards the end of last year, it would have definitely made my tactical folder list, because I can see it as being an absolute beast. The clip works like a dream. I've had it in my pocket constantly. It goes in and out of pocket with no resistance, stays in pocket. You don't have any clip rattle. You've got this hand satin S90v blade. Yep, hand satin, not machine satin, hand satin. And it is done beautifully. My lights are probably casting too many reflections, but you've got this very well done swedge. You've got this beautiful, beautiful flat grind. You've got this nicely done sharpening choil. If I was going to nitpick it, I would like to see the sharpening choil come back a little bit. You've got several sharpenings there before you get into smile territory, but it is kind of wide there. So if I was going to nitpick it, I'd love to see a larger sharpening choil, or, you know, different sharpening choil. And I think you could cut that in with no problem. I wouldn't say that yet. But anyway, what the characteristics of this knife, to me, ergonomically superior to almost everything I've carried. It feels amazing in hand. I don't even feel the clip, and I'm doing a death grip, blue knuckle squeeze on it right now. The action is glassy, and I'm trying to think of a word that doesn't sound cliche. This knife, this feels like a much more expensive custom action. The action, to me, it's got that very almost weightless characteristic, but it feels substantial. That doesn't really describe what I'm trying to. I can tell you it has an action that feels like it should be worth 5, 6, 7 times what this knife sells for. Fantastic knife. And what I tried to do, and what I wanted to do, is see what had changed about the version 2. I told you I'd had an experience with this knife before. I don't think I've ever reviewed it, but this is my best bud's A to Z EDC. Go give him a follow on Instagram. This is his version 1, Caladan. And what I loved about this knife, what I didn't understand was the ergonomic, or the look. I joked with him that it looked like a parrot. Hello, 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 no, hello, hello. So that was my not knowing any better, my kind of reaction to this knife at first, but I was blown away by the carbon fiber because I'd never seen anything like it. I know a lot of you have probably seen it and say, John, that's white carbon fiber or whatever it's called. But I'd never seen it. It was new to me. I thought it was very unique. The changes that I can tell that were made to this knife, this is also a beautifully hand-rubbed satin blade S90v. One thing on the V1, you had the SKELTON Blade Works logo on the pivot, which has been upgraded to a generic satin pivot, where you had the Tuya collaboration over here on the clip side and the blade steel of S90v. Now on the show side you have the Tuya logo. On the back side you've got Jim's SKELTON Blade Works logo, and you've got the S90v. So when you look at these two knives, and you guys tell me in the comments if I've missed something else, because I have looked at these guys back and forth. I know they sold out initially, and I know there was a demand for them, so I could assume them doing additional quantity with upgraded or alternate handle materials, and then make those small tweaks. But guys, from a knife that did not get my attention on the first go around, after reviewing it, having a chance to live with it, having a chance to learn about it by just going to Tuya's website, reading about it, reading what Jim said about it, Jim Skelton, the designer, and then digging a little bit deeper into the design that this was a reference of, the Exorcist fixed blade. You guys know me, I'm an EDC fixed blade guy. I'm not the most tactical. I'm tactical, but I'm not as tactical. But this in your pocket feels great. It's a very, very able folder for anything that you would need. It was I would say it's a harder use knife. Let's get a couple of quick dimensions because I have been ranting too long about this guy. It's going to weigh in lengthwise right at 8.5 inches. And it is going to have a blade that is 3 3/4 inches and a handle that's 4 3/4. Where I like to grab it, you're looking at, we'll say, a comfortable 4 1/4 from right here to right here. That's 4 1/4 spread. Your cutting edge on this knife is going to be 3.5 inches. Your poking edge 3 1/4. Again, you've got this beautiful swedge that runs down the length of the blade. So we'll see what the blade stock started with by taking a look at it back here where the jimps are. So the blade stock is 0.15, comes down to about a what's that, 20 thousandths, 0.0200. I think that's 20 thousandths. And then the handle on this, I'm going to guess, is around 1/2 inch. We'll go to the widest, 0.55 down to 0.45. So you can see it's got that 5-degree little swell there. Let's cut some paper with it. I don't think we did that yet. And then we'll throw it on the scale. Very slicey. That was cutter error. Very pokey. Not as much of a splinter digger, even though it could be a splinter digger. It's more to me of a breacher. Reminds me kind of a new age bayonet without, you know, for lack of a better terms, which is if you guys have heard me make up words or call Microtechs, Microsofts, or all the other crazy word games I play with myself, I'm not going to be the best to come up with those terms. So let's see how much it weighs. Weighs in at 4.7 ounces. Let's see what the carbon fiber version 1 weighed. 4.7 ounces. So there you go. That was the V1 that we got a peek of. This is the V2. Again, has that sterile pivot and has Jim's Skelton Blade Works logo moved. So you've got a logo on each side up by the jimping on the spine. So I think that looks really good. Again, hand satin is just beautiful. It's a gorgeous knife. It comes in a fantastic material, S90v. Again, I just think it's a very, very cool knife. I will leave a link below on where you can take a look at this thing over at Tuya Knives. I think they also have it in a DLC, but I don't know if those are still available if you like that darker color. But guys, I appreciate you all more than you know. As always, all I'll ever ask is, if you would, look out for that guy or gal to your left. Look out for that guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.